Hey there, this is Brittany with Happily Ever Anxious, and right now I am in the midst of a series about my top 10 tips for managing your social anxiety while visiting the Walt Disney World theme parks. I have been to the parks hundreds of times and definitely have some experience with trying to handle my social anxiety while in the parks, and I think I've come to basically a happy medium with doing so while visiting the parks and still being able to have a great and enjoyable experience each and every time. We've already gone over tips 1 through 4. If you have not checked out those videos, make sure that you go ahead and do so. In today's video, we are going to handle tip number 5, and this one might be a little bit controversial, but if you struggle with social anxiety like I do, hopefully you'll understand where I am coming from. I definitely want you to leave me some feedback in the comments below if you agree or disagree with this tip, but let's go ahead and get right into it. My 5th tip, or tip number 5, for managing your social anxiety while you are in the Disney World theme parks is to avoid character meet and greets. Now again, I know that this may be controversial for some and you're like, how dare you? Because there are a lot of people who come to the parks specifically to meet characters. They love to take photos with and have conversations with Mickey and Minnie, the princesses, and some of those characters who you never really get to see. You will find characters in every single theme park all across the parks. You'll also find them in some resorts, particularly during the character dining experiences that you can do. For me personally, I avoid the character meet and greets. I'm going to tell you why, and it all has to do though with my social anxiety. So if you don't suffer from, social anxiety, or if you don't have to deal with social anxiety, I don't want to say suffer from, because I'm not suffering. It's just something that is a part of my life and something that I deal with. But if that's not you, then this doesn't really apply to you, because it's probably not even something that you've ever thought about. However, for those of us who do struggle with social anxiety or live with social anxiety and are looking for ways to manage it, character meet and greets in the parks can be they can be problematic. So let's talk a little bit about why. For me, I just feel like character meet and greets are a recipe for a lot of awkward conversations. If you think about it, there are 2 types of character meet and greets that you can experience. Basically 2 types of characters. And let me just go back a little bit and define what a character meet and greet is. It really is when you are going to a designated location. You're going to stand in line and you're going to have time to meet with, have a conversation with, take pictures with, get autographs from some of your favorite characters. So for instance, in Magic Kingdom, there are character meet and greets right at the front of the park for Mickey and Minnie, and then there are several places where you can meet indoors with some of the princesses, and there's also a location now for, I want to say, Mirabelle from Encanto in Magic Kingdom, as well as over in Tomorrowland you can meet sometimes with Stitch and also with Buzz Lightyear. So those are just a couple of the ones that are in Magic Kingdom, but you're literally just standing in line as you would for an attraction or a ride or a show, and you meet with them. Like I said, you can have some conversations, have some back and forth banter, have them sign your autograph book, that kind of thing, and then take some photos. People love that, and I don't, because again, to me, it just makes for an awkward experience, because characters are either going to be, and I don't know what the proper term for this is. I know there is a term for it. I just don't know what it is. But they are going to either be like human characters, or they are going to be basically the in-person version of animated characters. So your human characters are going to be like your princesses, your princes, the Rapunzel, Merida, Mirabelle, that kind of thing. Whereas your like live action version, I don't know how to call it, but the ones with like I don't want to call them costumes, but the ones with the costumes on are going to be like your Mickey, your Minnie, your Goofy Donald, that kind of thing. The Stitch, those kinds of characters who are not humans to begin with. However, you could meet with them in person, like live, whatever. I don't know what you call them. If you know, just let me know in the comments. But those are the two types of meet and greets that you can do. To me, there isn't one that's any better or less awkward than the other. They're both pretty awkward, and here's why. When you're meeting with the human characters, like I said, the princesses is the easiest example. Those princesses are in character. Like, yes, they're humans, but they are going to be speaking to you, having conversations with you as if they were actually Princess Tiana or the evil stepsisters from Cinderella or Cinderella herself. So they're in that mode, they're in that character, and you're just you. So sometimes there can be some awkwardness there if they're saying things, especially if you don't really know the character's backstory. If they're saying things that you don't understand and you're trying to communicate with them and they're not communicating with you in the way that you think that they would, because you think, oh, they're a human princess, and then they're talking about things and that are related to their story. If you don't know their story, then that can be awkward. And so for me, I kind of don't like to go that route because it's just I don't know how to explain it, but kind of like just an awkward back and forth conversation with someone who is a real live person, but you might not understand their story as much as you should in order to be able to have a conversation with them. The other type of character are the ones who are in costume, and unfortunately, they can't talk. Like they can communicate with you through like their nonverbals, like they'll try to smile or whatever, that kind of thing. But because they are not humans, they can't talk to you. So then what happens there, I think this is even more awkward, is you're trying to have a conversation and interpret their nonverbals, interpret their gestures, and then kind of like answer for them, if that makes any sense. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one who thinks about this, but I do think about these things. And it just, again, it makes me very uncomfortable, these meet and greets. I have not done a meet and greet in years. I can actually remember the last one that I did. It was with Mickey Mouse, and this was when he was in his celebration outfit. So this was a couple years ago, and it was because they were in their celebration outfits that I felt the need to go and have that interaction. And I haven't done it since because it just makes me really awkward and it's uncomfortable, and I don't care for that. But it's more so because of my social anxiety and just feeling like just out of sorts. I don't know. But here's the thing. If you do want to meet characters, if you're like, you know what, I'm going to brave this, I'm going to conquer my social anxiety, I'm going to, this is something that I really want to do, especially if your favorite characters are doing meet and greets in the park, I would definitely say go for it. These interactions don't have to be super long and drawn out. You can just go have them take your picture. They'll have cast members, photographers taking pictures for you. You can also have them use your camera, and they don't have to use their camera. So just a note there. They will gladly take a picture using your camera so that you don't have to pay for the Disney official photos. But yes, you can go have them take your picture and keep it moving. It doesn't have to be anything crazy that you're doing. And so the interaction doesn't have to last it doesn't have to be a long interaction. It can just be straight into the point. So I would definitely say if there's a character that you want to see, then feel free to go stand in the line and meet that character. But I would say maybe try to come prepared. If you're kind of worried about the social anxiety aspect of it, come prepared with a little bit of conversation, maybe some questions that you will want to ask. And I apologize if you can hear my dog in the background, but she doesn't care that I'm recording. She doesn't think about that at all. But anyway, definitely do your meet and greet, but just prepare for it ahead of time. Like I said, try to have a couple of questions kind of thought of in your head that you'll want to ask, and just think about how you might respond to characters who are in character, and some of the questions that they may ask you, some of the things that they may say, and just have fun with it. Don't take it too seriously. I'm just, again, letting you know that character meet and greets are not on my to-do list at the present moment, unless, let's say that we have some characters come out that don't normally come out, then maybe I will brave my awkwardness and just go ahead and have some fun with it as well. So just to recap, tip number 5 is to try to avoid character meet and greets if that's not something that you feel like you have to do. But if you want to, definitely go ahead and go for it, and just prepare for conversations. Have some conversation starters or some questions kind of thought of in advance, and you will have a great experience. If you want to hear my tip number 6, go ahead and go to that next video. I will see you there in a few seconds. Bye.